Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Who's feeling tired and bored tonight? Hello, my huddled masses. All right. This side's a little quiet. I can't hear you. And you over here? Let me just make sure I got it. And my friends in the front? I am so glad to see you tonight. My name is Matt Abramovitz, and you may know me from my radio name, which is Matt Abramovitz. And when I'm coming off a cold like this, people will say to me in conversation, "Oh, you have a radio voice," which is their way of saying, you don't belong on TV. You really don't even take a selfie and show up in my feed, all right? And we just have to set some ground rules for this to work. And I've been living with this for a long time. I'm comfortable with that. But my mother, who's in the audience tonight, hi, Mom. Well, she once told me that I looked like Ben Affleck. So I want you to, so I'd like you to do a little exercise with me. We're going to try this. Will you close your eyes? Everybody close your eyes with me? Okay, eyes closed. Now I want you to picture Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck. And I'm not talking sad at the beach Ben Affleck with the tattoo up his back. I'm talking like Ben Affleck in his prime. Okay, do you have that picture in your head? Yeah. Now open your eyes. Okay, my mother's always right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try this 5 beers in, and we're gonna try this again and see if it works. So did everybody get a beer out front? Because the way this night works is that it's much more fun when you drink a lot of beer. Because I'm funnier and better looking, and you will love the music even more. So, because the premise of the Classical Beer Jam is that you can fall in love with anything, even classical music, if you have a beer in your hand. So, did you get one up front already? Well, I'd like you to meet the man who made that beer. Please welcome Kelly from Kelso Brewery. Hello, Kelly. Oh, Mike. This is Kelly Taylor. Kelly, what are we drinking tonight? Or what do we drink out front in the lobby?
Well, what we're drinking tonight is the Mosaic IPA. Mm-hmm. Our classic IPA. This is our Mosaic IPA, classic IPA with Mosaic, Chinook, and Amarillo hops. Nice and fruity and crisp and clean.
Let's give it a try.
Cheers.
Does everybody have? And I think you're getting the new beer, too, coming through, right? So tell me a little bit about how you pull these different hops together.
Well, what we're looking for is we're looking for a nice rounded fruitiness, a little grapefruity, a little pine. Mm-hmm. So when you put these different combinations of hops together, you get this underlying kind of fruit flavor that really comes off, really helps the other components pop. So you get this really nice, subdued hop character: grapefruit, pine, citrus, peach, a little bit. So they all kind of blend together and get a really nice palate. And we call that simply good. We like that on the palate. We like it nice, simple, simply but good. Refreshing. You know, simply good. Yeah.
And tell me about the name of your brewing. It's Kelso. So
Kelso
that's Kelly.
Brewery. Yeah, Kelly and Sonia, me and my wife.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And have you always been in New York?
The brewery, yeah, we started the brewery in 2006 in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And right now we're brewing up in Queens and in the Bronx.
When did you know you were truly New Yorkers?
Well, Sonia's from here. She was born and raised here. Right. We were truly New Yorkers. Probably the first time I cut somebody off in mid-sentence. Because I come from the Pacific
Thank
Northwest.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Very good. Yeah. I come from the Pacific Northwest. That's normally not done.
Well, thank you so much for this. Thanks for bringing your beer.
Thank you very much.
Kelso Brewery, and this is Kelly. Please give him a big round of applause, and thanks for Mosaic IPA.
Thank you. Cheers. Can I leave this for you?
Sure, I'll just top you off. Excellent. All right. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly Taylor. So the next beer that's coming around is, so this is the way it works. We have, QXR listeners in the house? How many QXR listeners? Okay. So this is a special night for the QXR family because not only was she on the air asking for money today, but Annie Bergen is in the house passing out your beer. Annie, wave to the people. This really is a team effort. Everything we do at WQXR is a team effort, even passing the beer. And just like they say at the New York Philharmonic, let me know when everybody's got their beer. Are we there? Almost there. Okay. So I'd like you to meet the person who brewed this beer, Jason Saylor. Hello, Saylor. There he is. Oh my gosh, I've already got too many beers in my hand. I'm gonna put this one down. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm not that short. Is that better?
All right.
There we go.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome, Jason.
Thank you.
So, Jason Saylor, tell us the name of your brewery.
Strong Rope Brewery.
And how does it? Tell us a little bit about the name.
Yeah. I named the brewery after my best friend. His name was Eric Ropito. It was a way to pay homage to him after he died. So.
Poignant story.
Yeah.
And tell the folks a little bit about what Strong Rope stands for as a brewery.
Yeah, we're a brewery that's focused on using New York ingredients. We utilize 100% New York ingredients in all of our beers, both hops and malts, and are trying to kind of push the resurgence of brewing agriculture in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what are we drinking right tonight?
So this is Blood of Gods. This is our red ale.
Okay.
Just a big kind of rich, malty, caramel toffee, a little chocolate kind of notes at the end. Just kind of bringing back to things that are a little bit more on base note and just rich and complex in the malt category.
Mm-hmm. This is different than the other God blood I've had.
Yeah.
A little coffee in it or something like that.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me about one of your when you knew you were a real New Yorker stories.
Yeah. I'm just being kind of. I live about a 10-minute walk from the brewery, and over the years, I've been in the city for about 15 years now. Once the people on the street just started recognizing me, and I'm like on that daily commute, I feel like I'm part of the neighborhood. I feel like I'm like actually part of New York now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And so where can people find your brewery?
We're in Gowanus on 574 President Street.
Gowanus in the house.
Yeah.
I love that.
Lots of
Welcome.
Gowanus. Yeah, so 574 President between 3rd and 4th Avenue.
All right.
Yeah.
Jason Saylor, Strong Rope Brewery,
Cheers.
The Blood of Gods.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
cheers.
Thank you. And so while you're drinking, we're going to pair this drink with a piece of music. And the pianist who's going to play is one of my favorite pianists working today. And he is what I call a shapeshifter because he can play jazz. He is one of these badass jazz players. And then he can turn around and play with the Philharmonic, playing classical music. He has that breadth and that fluidity, and it's amazing to behold. And he's going to play tonight the music of Duke Ellington. Anybody heard Duke Ellington? Okay. So one of the stories, I like to tell stories about some of these composers because, on the air you hear us talking about composers all the time, but in these events I want you to get to know them more as flesh and blood people, and when I say flesh and blood, I really want to focus on the liver, right? And so Duke Ellington was a pretty hard drinker back in the day when those bands were getting started in the 20s and early 30s, and then by later in life he described himself in his autobiography, Music is My Mistress, as a retired juice head. Yeah, he was retired. And he had gotten to only drink Coke on stage. So you'd see him on stage and he'd be drinking Coca-Cola, but it was doctored a little bit. He would add to his Coca-Cola 4 teaspoons of sugar. Because Coke's not that sweet. You gotta sweeten that up. It's perfectly logical. So just imagine Duke on the bandstand with his Coke and his 4 teaspoons of added sugar, just going through them. And the work we're going to hear, speaking of Blood of the Gods, I want to just share with you the words that Duke Ellington said about New World a-Comin'. New World a-Comin' is a place in the distant future on land, at sea, or in the air, where there will be no war, no greed, no categorization, no non-believers, where love is unconditional and no pronoun is good enough for God. Please welcome Aaron Diehl.
really hope that's okay and it doesn't affect my playing. But I hope you enjoy this New World of Comin'.
Aaron Diehl. Drink to that. Hey, cheers. Well done. Well done. So tell me a little bit about, I mean, you can play just about anything, but tell me why you chose New World to Come In by Duke Ellington.
Well, it's one of his most probably underrated extended compositions that he often played solo. But it was originally written for, I think as you mentioned, it was based on a book by Roy Otley called New World to Come In. And it was written for his jazz band, 1943. It was actually premiered, 43, I think it was 43. It was actually premiered at a club called the Capitol here in New York City, and then they played it at Carnegie Hall in December 43. And there was also a really nice arrangement by Maurice Perez and Luther Henderson for a symphonic orchestra and solo piano. So, yeah.
And do you hear I mean, it seemed pretty clear to me, but do you hear the connections between classical and jazz in Duke's music?
Oh, absolutely. All over the place. He's very much influenced by classical music, but I mean, he was iconic in that he developed his own sound within his ensemble. I mean, his ensemble was his canvas to create his own unique identity and sound through the lens of American music.
How easily do you pass between classical and jazz?
I mean, I don't know how to really explain that. I play what I love, and I try not to think too much of boundaries. And I think Duke was the same way. Not to compare myself with Duke, but he used to,
But it just happened. Yeah. I'm just saying, it's all right. It's all right.
He always used the phrase beyond category, and I think music really is beyond category.
Now, I think I speak for everybody here. When can we see you again?
When can you see me again? It's a good question. I'm playing. You may never see me again after tonight. I know I'm playing in New York City. I'm playing at Brewery College on March 28th with my trio. I think that's my next New York City appearance.
Brewery College, 1 month from today. Aaron Diehl and the trio.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Cheers. All right, boss. Thank you so much. Aaron Diehl, Duke Ellington's New World to Come In. Okay. Everybody feeling good? Had a couple drinks? I know I am. And that means it's time to play a little game. I need a volunteer for our Beer Jam Trivia contest. Who would like to join me for Beer Jam Trivia? You out here, you sir, come on. You've got a beard. You've got a beard. You look like you belong at a craft beer event. Here, come on over here. All right. So, come on the stage. Come on stage. Welcome, welcome. So, let's get this microphone. You're going to use this microphone. I'm going to use this microphone.
Deal.
I'm Matt.
Matt, I'm Brian. Nice to meet you.
Brian, where are you from?
California. But the Upper West Side, more recently.
I was going to say, that is one dedicated visit.
To see
He's
Ben
beer
Affleck?
jam. To see, it's to see a Ben Affleck lookalike like this. So here is the way. You already have a beer in your hand. This is going to make it more complicated.
Hold
on. Thank you. Now take this. So here's the way classical beer jam trivia works. If you're a first timer, you may not know all the rules, and there are many rules. The first thing is that here's what's at stake. A WQXR taxi tote bag. You may hear us talking about on the membership drive about the MC Escher-like artwork of taxis morphing into pianos and pianos morphing, and just blows your mind, right? And it's kind of hard to imagine when we're talking about it on the radio, but this is the tote bag. And that's what hangs in the balance. I'm going to hang it right here on the balance. Then the other thing is that I'm going to ask you 4 questions.
Okay.
If you get any of them right or wrong,
All right.
you will win the tote bag. But if you do get one of them wrong, you're going to have to drink.
Okay. That seems fair.
So the theme of the Beer Jam trivia right now is called the Out of Towners. New York City, a destination for people from around the world, the hungry, the tired, the poor, and lots of classical artists, many of them from Europe, who came to the New World for the first time in New York City. So your questions are all about our out-of-town friends.
Excellent.
Like you're from California.
Garden
You're from
Beach.
out of town. All righty, here we go. New Yorkers love nicknames. You have a nickname?
I don't.
Okay, this could be your day. Now, you got some famous nicknames. You've got the Big Apple, the Great White Way, Individual Number One. The Czech composer Antonín Dvořák came to New York City in 1892 to teach at the National Conservatory, and his colleagues there gave him a nickname. What was Antonín Dvořák's nickname at the National Conservatory? Was it A,
Oh, good.
the Great...
Oh, thank God.
Was it A, the Great Bear? B, Old Borax? C, Mr. Pickles? Or D, the Little Mushroom? What was Antonín Dvořák's nickname in New York?
Well, I feel like I should know a thing or two about bears. I think Dvořák was probably a little guy, so I'm going with the Little Mushroom.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. You're going to have to take a
The
drink.
whole thing?
No, just take a sip.
Okay.
So Little Mushroom was the nickname of Franz Schubert because he was short and a fun guy. But it's right there, people. I had to take it. But in New York City, Antonín Dvořák was known as Old Borax. We still don't know why, but probably he came with very clean whites. So, moving on to question number 2. You're not allowed to drink until you've gotten it wrong. I'm just going to say, don't sneak drinks on me. Here we go. Okay, the inaugural concert at Carnegie Hall in 1891 was conducted by the eminent Russian composer Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky.
Yes.
He met Andrew Carnegie that night.
Sure.
And the steel magnate charmed Tchaikovsky by doing what? Was it A, Carnegie showed off the tattoo he got in the Navy? Was it B, Carnegie did some super cool air conducting? C, Carnegie shared his secrets of creating a railroad monopoly that Tchaikovsky later used in Russia to great personal profit? Or was it D, there were no contacts, the meeting never happened?
Well, the top 3
What,
sound
too soon?
pretty implausible. But D is a reference to the news. Let's go with
Of
A.
No, Carnegie, as far as I know, was not tattooed. You're going to have to drink. The answer was that he entertained the crowd in the lobby by
With
air
air
conducting in the style of Tchaikovsky.
All right.
All right, well played. Okay.
All right.
Moving on. The great French composer Maurice Ravel came to America once. It was in 1928 for a 4-month tour, and his stop in New York happened to coincide with his 53rd birthday. A party was thrown, and what only in New York experience did he have that night? Was it A, he ate a slice of Junior's cheesecake that he said would go straight to his derriere? B, he drank bathtub gin with F. Scott Fitzgerald? C, George Gershwin played a solo version of Rhapsody in Blue that brought the house down? Or D, he had late-night Chinese food delivered for the very first time? It's after 10. What a country!
What year did you say that was?
1928.
So it was a night of ravelry.
I'm just going to give you the mic.
Yeah. I think that makes sense that it was Gershwin.
It was George
All right.
Gershwin. You may not drink.
All right.
This is an impressive. So George Gershwin and Ravel hung out together. Gershwin played him Rhapsody in Blue, The Man I Love, and several other tunes. It was well known that once Gershwin got down at the piano, nobody got a chance. That's all. He would just stay there all night. But he did take Ravel up to Connie's Inn and the Cotton Club to experience American jazz firsthand.
Very cool.
So you are now at a very impressive 1 for 3.
1 for 3.
Here's your chance to go maybe better. I don't know. The Viennese waltz king Johann Strauss Jr. came to the United States in 1872 for a brief tour of both Boston and New York. And at the end of his stay, he had some choice words about those two cities. Which of these statements was by Johann Strauss Jr.? Was it A, Boston is puritanical, stupid, and dull?
It's true.
B, Tom Brady is an amazing athlete, but I still don't like him? Was it C, only an insane person would choose to live in New York City? Or D, the one thing that is very good here, the beer?
Given the theme of the night, let's go with D.
As a matter of fact, you're going to have to drink, sir. You're
Oh,
wrong.
bummer.
Yeah, so the fact is that he said the one thing that was very good here was definitely not the beer. He hated it. He said, on this respect, the country is very deficient. But he really did believe that Boston is puritanical, stupid, and dull. The case has been closed. Thank you so much for playing Classical Beer Jam Trivia. You are the winner of the WQXR tote bag. Thank you so, so much. My friends, you now have your third beer of the night in your hands, and I would like you to meet the brewer who made it. Please welcome Kyle Hurst of Big Alice Brewery. Kyle! All right, Kyle. Thank you so much. Long time. Good to see you again. Cheers. Take the microphone. Oh my God. That's because I've had 3 beers too.
I haven't had any back there.
What?
First one.
Guys, I know how you brewers roll. All right, so Kyle, tell us a little bit about the beer we have in our hands.
So this is on topic. I appreciate your outfit tonight. That's great. This is what we're calling a New York State IPA. So it's made with 100% New York State ingredients. It's a 5-way collaboration we did with our New York State maltster, our New York State hop farm, Jason from Strong Rope, who you met earlier, and Endless Life, a new brewery that's opening in Brooklyn.
Oh, very cool. So all of the ingredients are from New York State. Can you taste the New York State in there?
The terroir, yes.
Terroir?
Yeah. Yes. Just the legs. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your brewery, Big Alice. How did it get its name?
So Big Alice is, we often get asked who Big Alice is when the correct
Is she
answer
here
is, she's not. Big Alice is a what, not a who. So we actually named after a local landmark. We were so small when we started that choosing a name that was New York City specific or even Queens specific, where our brewery is located, just didn't make sense for us. We want something that's in our neighborhood. Locals get it. So it's actually the red and white smokestacks, the Ravenswood Power Generator, which is right down the street from where we're located.
And so how are you feeling about Amazon in Long Island City?
Well, I don't feel anything about them in Long Island City because they're not in Long Island City.
And so tell me about your only in New York experience.
My only in New York.
Yeah, you got a good story?
So for me, I'm from Wisconsin originally. I guess we can start with that.
Okay.
Been in New York.
We're among friends. You can say that.
All right. No, it's I'm proud to be from Wisconsin. If somebody asks me where I'm from and where I live, I'll give you 2 different answers. But the moment I thought I was a New Yorker, I was actually on my way to a beer festival, and I was coming down Wall Street. The beer festival was out on Governor's Island, so I had to catch a ferry to get there, which is kind of a crazy thing too. But people were stopping on Wall Street, like looking at the buildings and taking pictures. I'm like, get out! I got somewhere to be. People, get out of my way. So I don't know if. I don't know if it was part because I was going to a beer festival or part because I just didn't want, tourists getting in my way. But that was my moment that I felt like a New Yorker.
All right, well, you're definitely part of the team. Thank you. Kyle Hurst of Big Alice Brewing.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. So this beer is entirely made of ingredients from New York State. And so this next piece of music is very much New York, although not Long Island City. It's a little bit more in the direction of Brooklyn. It's got a deep, deep connection to Brooklyn. So the composer of this work, who's Andrea Pinto Correa, she lives in Flatbush. And she wrote this string quartet inspired by the music of the poetry of Hart Crane. And so Hart Crane had this idea that he was going to write the American version of T.S. Eliot's The Wastelands. And so he originally was going to call it Midtown East. But then he got this unbelievably sweet sublet overlooking the Brooklyn Bridge. And he's like, holy shit, I'm a poet and I've got a sublet in Brooklyn Heights. And so instead of writing Midtown East, he wrote The Bridge. And this epic poetry inspired this next string quartet. And to play it is the group that it was written for. The composer worked with them throughout the process on tailoring this music for this group. So please join me in welcoming the Jack Quartet. Wow. The Jack Quartet. John Pickford Richards, Jay Campbell, Austin Woolman, and Chris Otto. Wow. That was impressive. So, John Pickford Richards, you've been described as wholesome looking by the New York Times, which must mean it's true. And also means you're not from around here. Where are you from?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
I knew it! The wholesome looking thing was a total giveaway, dude. That's what the Times says when they want to say you're from Utah. All right, so I said you worked with Andrea Pinto Correa on this work, her first string quartet, and I think you guys gave the premiere of it, right? What was it like to work with the composer? Because usually with classical music, these folks have been dead for so long, you can't be like, hey, Beethoven, this isn't working here. Can we fix this up? What was it like to work with her?
You know, really the best part about working with living composers is just knowing what they're like as people, and I feel like I know that just from the moment they walk into a room. And working with her, I mean, she's great. She was a friend of ours before she wrote this piece, and so we automatically had a personal relationship with her. But what was cool about it was that she's from Portugal, and it was commissioned by a hall in Lisbon, and so we went to where she was from to give its premiere.
Oh, excellent. And can you tell me a little bit about the next piece you want to play? And Jay, you hang a lot with our next composer. So I want to hear an Only in New York John Zorn story that you can share with the general audience.
I don't think they're mostly for public consumption, I would say. We eat a lot of dumplings in Queens together. That's mostly where we've bonded. Yeah.
Not Barney Greengrass?
No, we go to Russ and Daughters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, but this next work is by a icon of New York music since as long as I can remember. And I used to see him a lot at Tonic and Knitting Factory and Stone, obviously. John Zorn, tell us a little bit about this work.
It's really intense. He wrote it in sort of a fit of inspiration. I think he wrote it in, 2 days or something, the whole piece? We're only going to play the first movement. But it's full of allusions to various occult practices, magical practices, types of alchemy, that kind of stuff. So this is, I can't remember, is this specifically referring to Aleister Crowley? Or is this about... the Necronomicon was from H.P. Lovecraft, maybe? Yes, yeah. I think something like that, yeah.
Okay, so in that world of H.P. Lovecraft and Aleister Crowley and John Zorn, this work is called Necronomicon. The first movement is called Conjurations. This is the Jack Quartet. Jack Quartet, John Pickford Richards, Jay Campbell, Austin Woolman, and Chris Otto. Thank you so much. Necronomicon by John Zorn, the first movement Conjurations. Gents, hurry back. It was great having you. Thank you so much. Jack Quartet. Were they amazing? All right. Is everybody holding up okay? This is the only time that I was described by anyone ever as statuesque. It's been a good night for me so far. Hope it's been a good night for you in the same way. You're all looking very good too. I'm looking for another volunteer from maybe this side of the room to play another game with me. Whose game? Who's willing to play? Nobody's. I can't get any volunteer from the audience. Okay. I can't see, so you're gonna have to just send somebody up over there. Okay, you in the middle of that table. You've been volunteered by your friends. There's no turning back. You right here. They're arguing over it. It's okay. Kids today. All right. Is it Ashley? Is it Ashley? Ashton. Come on, just climb on up. And look what happens. You try to do the right thing, and yeah, sometimes this goes that way. Come over here. Take a microphone. Tell me your name again.
Ashton.
Ashton. Okay.
Yes.
And where are you from, Ashton?
Austin, Texas.
Okay. And did you come from Austin for this event?
Just for this. I'm in for the night.
Ashton,
No.
how did you?
I live with the other two girls over there.
Okay. Well, next time we'll do it like we'll have everybody on, all roommates on for the game. So I'm gonna ask you to hold the cup. So Ashton, how long have you lived in New York?
8 months.
Whoa, you're a newbie. What's
Yep.
been the hardest thing about moving from Austin, Texas to New York City? I do this all the time. What do you think DJs are doing when they're not on the air?
Rent, I guess, is the hardest, if we're being honest.
Well, I hope you're hanging. This, by the way, we are still drinking the agriculture beer we had from Big Alice that Kyle brought to us, all New York State ingredients. Ashton from Austin, are you ready to play a game we call Composer or Beer?
Yes.
So the way this game works is that I'm going to give you some crunchy names, and you have to tell me whether it's a composer or a beer.
Oh, God.
Can we get, are you ready to play?
Yeah.
So here's how it works. If you get any of them right, or not, you will win a WQXR taxi tote bag. Are you a WQXR listener?
That's how I found out about this.
I love that. But if you get it wrong, you're going to have to drink.
Okay.
Here we go. Ashton from Austin, let's go. Your first clue is Grolsch.
Beer.
Correct, it's a beer. Well done. Graupner.
Composer.
Correct, Christoph Graupner of the 18th century, contemporary of Bach. Well done. Wow, you are 2 for 2 so far. Let's go. Number 3, Weihenstephaner.
Beer.
Wow, well done. Not just any beer, the oldest beer in the world. It's a 1,000-year-old brewery in Germany. Well done. Ashton, something tells me you've been doing your homework here. Erdinger.
Beer.
Whoa. You are on fire.
Don't jinx
I feel like I'm going to have to drink when you get these right. Dittersdorf.
Composer.
Correct, it's Karl Ditters von Dittersdorf, making classical DJs snicker for 250 years. Cromer.
Beer.
I'm sorry, you're wrong. You have to drink. It's Franz Cromer.
That wasn't me. This is what I get for taking hints.
Yeah, no take it. And here we go. Cronenberg. It's not you.
I was gonna say composer.
And what's your final answer? I feel
Beer.
like
Beer.
it's a beer. It's a French beer. Thank you so much, Ashton. You may keep this beer, even though because you are indeed a winner of the WQXR taxi tote bag. Yours normally for a contribution of $10 a month as a sustaining member, but for you, who knows her composers from her beer, yours tonight.
Thank you.
Ashton,
Thank you.
welcome to New York City.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have another beer coming around in the next couple of seconds. And I just want to say, I did mention, for example, that we have, has everybody got their next beer? Oh, everybody's already drinking it? Great. Then let's meet the brewer. Please welcome Marcus Lutter of Sixpoint. There he is. Cheers. You have the required brewer's beard I so admire. Marcus, thank you. What are we drinking tonight?
So this is our dabble. It's a New England IPA that we have available right now.
So tell me let's tell the folks. I know what an IPA is. I know what a double IPA. That's just two of them. What is a New England IPA? Is that one that roots for the Pats?
Unfortunately, probably. So it's a new style that's come out. It's known for. You'll see how cloudy it is.
Right.
There's a lot of haze in there. That's something we're shooting for. Also, it's typical IPAs are more bitter. That's kind of what they're known for. New England IPAs are we're trying to get less bitterness, but just as much hop character. So you'll get a lot more juicy character flavors from the hops, but not as much bitterness.
Everybody tasting that? All the flavor, no the bitter? That's how I talk after I've had this much beer. Marcus, you work at Sixpoint Brewery, which is located in Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a good story about an only in New York experience, or a time that you realized you were a real New Yorker?
I've never been so angry at people in the car. Since I've been in there.
You think like road rage is like some
I
sort
think
of city export?
It's contagious, yeah. The amount of horn honking is, I've never experienced it until I moved here.
And where are you from originally?
I'm from Michigan originally.
Wow.
I've been here for 6 years.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you've made it this far. Marcus Lutter of Sixpoint Brewery, you survived, even with a little dose of road rage. So this is the Dabble, a brand new New England double IPA.
Right.
All right, thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
All right, cheers. Marcus Lutter, Sixpoint Brewery. Now, you have met, I'll tell a story. Now you got me talking. So this next piece of music you'll hear was written and inspired by music made in New York. So the story is, I mentioned that Anthony Dvorak, we knew him as Old Borax, came to New York City to teach. And he gave a very controversial interview where he said that the future of American music rested with African-American melodies. That was black music that would distinguish American music into the future. And all the people who wrote about classical music at that time said, oh my God. But of course he was right. And some people heard what he was saying. And so when they heard his New World Symphony, a composer named William Arms Fisher heard that beautiful middle movement. And he heard the way Dvorak had been inspired by spirituals that had been taught to him by his students, especially Harry Burleigh at the National Conservatory here in New York. And William Arms Fisher wrote a lyric to the Dvorak melody that many people just assumed was a spiritual, but it wasn't. It was Dvorak plus an American composer who was inspired by this challenge to recognize the place of African American music in America's story and culture. So to sing Going Home, please welcome John Holliday.
Set up here.
Right? Oh my God. So amazing. John Holiday. John, you and I obviously shop at the same stores. And we sing in approximately the same range. Yeah. So, how did you find that voice? How did it's as a countertenor? Explain what that is.
A countertenor is basically a male soprano or a male alto. That's really, all that it is. If I go into too many details, I might confuse you. But that's basically the gist of it. Yeah.
And when did you realize that's where you sang?
I've always sung up here in this range. In high school, in fact, my freshman year, I was a soprano. It was only in my sophomore, junior, and senior year that I switched to be a tenor one. But only because the notes were too high for some of the tenors, so that's why they switched me there. But I've always sung high. It was a part of my upbringing in the church, and so my big mama was the choir director, and whatever big mama told me to do is what I did, and I did it with joy. So, yeah.
Smart man. Smart man. So, had you sung Going Home before?
I have never sung it before until tonight, but I'm gonna add it into my rep. I love this song. It's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful piece. So.
It was sung at FDR, a memorial for FDR and for Gerald Ford, and now at a classical beer jam. I feel like it's made it.
Yes, it has, for sure. It definitely has.
All right, so I have to ask you to do one more. I hope that's okay. Everybody okay with that? One more from John? Now, this next composer is very much a New York composer. And for all of you who have been enjoying the beers tonight, George Gershwin did not drink much. He would tell everyone that he had what was called a composer's stomach. But tell me a little bit about this piece.
It's one of my favorite pieces, and it comes from the opera Porgy and Bess. It is Gershwin's Summertime.
All right. Well, thank you, John Holliday, George Gershwin's Summertime.
Little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you spread your wings. Till the morning, there's nothing can harm you. With Daddy and Mommy standing by.
John Holiday. It's too much. It's too many good things. I can't take it. I just cannot take it. John, thank you so much. John will be appearing in the Met very soon. He is also teaching at Lawrence University in Appleton, Wisconsin, and he is here with us tonight. And right, another round of applause for John Holiday. Wow. So we have had, I think we're up to 4 beers at this point. And this is a good time for me to ask you to give money to WQXR. All right, so how many of you are members of WQXR or WNYC? It's okay. All right, I like that. So if you noticed something different about your radio today, is because we were on the air telling you about how important it is that people who listen to the radio station support it with a contribution. So this is like, it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real right now. Are you feeling it? No, it's true, we are a public radio station. So everything that we do, the fact that Annie Bergen is here tonight, passing you a beer, is made possible because of listener contributions. And Natalia Ramirez, and Aaron Dalton, and Crystal Hawes, and Greta Rainbow, they're all here. And Sapir is here, they're all here because of listener contributions, making a night like this possible. And all these artists are here because of you. So this works together because listeners make it possible. So all those tote bags we're talking about, when you think tote bag, think, I'll have another beer, Annie Bergen. Thank you very much. Too much beer? Okay, that's what I like to hear. Is this too much? There's no such thing. Okay. So now that you have this, are we up to 4, 5, the 5th beer in your hands? If I could just get your attention for a moment. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. All right. Is everyone's eyes closed right now? And I want you to think about Good Will Hunting, and Gone Girl, Argo, oh yeah, Batman. And now open. Ben Affleck, right? Am I right? It's right here. Mom, thank you, you were right. They all see it. It's true. It's true. It's just true. Let's meet the brewer who has the keys to the kingdom on this last beer in your hands. Please welcome Keir Hamilton from Alewife Brewing. Keir, welcome. Is it hard for you being on stage with a dead spit image of Ben Affleck?
It is tough, you know.
Cheers. So, Keir.
Yes.
I'm really aware of how tall you are right now.
Okay.
I also want to point out for everyone who hasn't noticed that we are literally 4 for 4 on brewer beards. So far, like, what? And no hair? And hats? Oh my God, what? Oh, it's all right.
I got it.
You can wear the hat. You can feel comfortable. So everybody had a hat too? So most of them.
Yeah.
So every cliche that you thought of as true has been reaffirmed about craft brewers. Keir, you're a
beer
craft brewer.
bellies.
What are we drinking?
This is Death to Ego. It is our 6.1% IPA made with Centennial, Amarillo, and Azaka hops. It's more
what hops?
Azaka. I don't name them, I just buy them. Yeah. It's more of a fruit-forward, kind of tropical, more citrus hops we use.
So how did you come up with the name Death to Ego?
This one was for my business partner, and
An idea for you.
Yeah, he's not here, so. Yeah, I think it's just like no one is better than anyone else. It's New York City. We're all just trying to make it, and just calm yourself and just join the line and just wait for the subway doors to open. But let the people off first. That's
For a Death to Ego, that has a lot of rules. So, Keir, tell me about Alewife Brewing, because when I hear about Alewife, I'm thinking fish.
Yes, we did not know that.
What?
Yeah, no. So way back in the day in Britain, England, it was women that made the beer, and they were known as alewives. And then it was cool to make beer, so then the men came in and was like, no, we make the beer now. Yeah.
That never happens, but okay.
Yeah. But we named it after the original women that made all the beer. And thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, women who made the beer.
Yep.
But the alewife is also
It was a fish
a
from the
fish
Northeast.
from the Northeast.
Yeah, I didn't know that. When I speak to anyone from the Northeast, they're like, why are you named after a fish? I was like, what?
What? Have you ever met a fish?
No, I've never met a fish.
Why are you named after all the beer ladies? So you speak with a slight brogue.
Yes.
Tell me when you realized felt you were a true New Yorker.
Actually, like the city that never sleeps. I came back from upstate New York, Hudson Valley area, from a snowboarding trip, and it was a long day, early morning, and we fell asleep. Me and my girlfriend, we fell asleep at like 7 p.m. You fall asleep that early, you're gonna wake up in the middle of the night. We woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, and then we ordered a tuna melt from a diner, and it was delivered to our apartment. Yeah, the city never sleeps, so you can get anything at any time. That was when I was like, I live in New York City.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Keir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keir Hamilton of Alewife Brewing. Where am I going to find Alewife beers?
You can find us all over the place, but you can come visit us in Long Island City. We're on 51st Ave in Borden. Tap room is open every day from 4 p.m. and 11 a.m. on the weekends.
All right. We will see you there.
Thank you.
Cheers. Alewife Brewing, Keir Hamilton, Long Island City, just like Big Alice. So we've got Brooklyn from Sixpoint and Strong Rope and Kelso's everywhere, and also our Long Island City friends, Alewife and Big Alice. And so one of the ways you can support these craft brewers, you can go out and visit their tap rooms. You can ask for their beers when you go to the bar, and that's a great way to, and you can buy them at the corner bodega too when you can. And it's a great way of supporting all the artists that you're hearing in terms of the beers, and obviously going to see the music is a great way of supporting all the artists that you're hearing tonight too. So there are websites and all the good stuff for Jack Quartet and John Holliday and Aaron Diehl, and I will email you after the show with all the links so you have them, okay? And to see Ben Affleck, maybe we'll do a little side-by-side action, right? Because I think you all see it now, right? Right? I'd like you to welcome our final act of the evening, the Amani Winds. Hi, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Amani Winds. All right, so there's a couple things you need to know about the Amani Winds. First thing is that these guys are so amazing and badass, and that's just a fact. But they're going to prove that. I don't have to tell you that stuff. The other thing you should know is that 2 out of these 5 people have worked here before. I'm not kidding. Mark Dover and Brandon Patrick George have worked at WQXR, kind of in various production capacities, right?
I was, burning CDs and doing that kind of thing. Just taking the music for my own keeping later on.
What? I never heard. Well, come on. All right, it's just got weird, dude. We were having a good moment. We were like looking back at all the times you were here, helping get the music on the radio, and then it just got into piracy, and it's on the internet now. And Brandon, I follow you all over the place, and I see you're playing with some amazing people right now, right? Did I see you with like Dudamel?
Yeah, I was in LA over the summer playing with the LA Phil, so that was really exciting.
Whoa. Yeah. So he's very soft-spoken about it. So there is a revolving door. You work at QXR, you might end up at the LA Phil. I don't know. Or Imani Winds. And Jeff, I was talking to Jeff Scott backstage about his life in New York City, and you had a story about your first apartment in New York, which is definitely like a big milestone for any New Yorker. Tell me about your first apartment.
Yes, the first New York City apartment I had was on 50th Street and the West Side Highway. Right next to the Intrepid, that's right. It was owned by Janet Hubert, the woman who played the Fresh Prince's mother on the Fresh Prince. The first one. Right. I gotta get that right. It's really important because there were two. And the best part about it was because it was a true New York apartment. We had scaffolding right outside the building that never disappeared for the 3 years. For the 3 years we were there, and like 25 homeless people who we befriended and shared our lunch with and talked to on the way out and the way back in. And they would say, "Hey, you got mail today?" And we were all friends, and they actually protected us. I mean, it was great, you know. So that was my New York first apartment. Yeah.
That is a good one. All right, Jeff Scott, Toyin, welcome. Hello, Ko.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your New York life.
Well, I started out like many of us may have as a student here. So I came here from grad school from Oberlin, which is pretty much any OBs here? Yeah, okay. I hear a low woo.
All Wesleyan here. We're all Wesleyan.
I'm so sorry. So I was first in a dorm, and that was interesting. I was at this place called International House, which is a dorm for Columbia and the Manhattan School of Music. So I got to meet all sorts of crazy, weird young students there. It was awesome.
All right. And Monica Ellis. So tell us about coming to New York and becoming a real New Yorker.
Well, I've been in New York. It's been 25 years, so I think I'm a New Yorker. I'm a Harlem girl from the start. I've lived in Harlem since 1996, so I love the fact that I've seen so much build around me and actually have been a part of that process in one way or another, and it's an amazing feeling to say New York is home. Although I'm from Pittsburgh originally. Go Steelers. Woohoo!
All right, so tell us about this work by a New York composer.
Yes, I would love to tell you about this. We're going to play a piece by our former flutist and composer, Valerie Coleman. And in quintessential New York fashion, she wrote a piece that celebrates the Romani people of Eastern Europe.
I think somebody's listening to a Steelers game right now, by the way. Like, what the what? Dude. Yeah. You're like, somebody mentioned the Steelers, I gotta check the scores. Ha ha. Yeah, I mean, what is going on? I'm gonna rewatch that game right now. Can I do that with my pocket computer? Thanks, bro. That was super cool. Monica, you were talking.
Say, we didn't make it to the playoffs, but something is going on over there. Right. Valerie is a quintessential New Yorker. She has used all the various influences from jazz, from classical, from world music. Just New York has been her muse for years and years and years, and we continue to celebrate her music. So this piece entitled Sigan indeed celebrates the Eastern European flavor of the Romani people, and so you're going to hear some improvisatory aspects, some very specific written music, but it's just this tour de force, and we love to celebrate her music.
All right. Let's hear it. This is Sigan. Imani Winds here in the green space.
Thank you.
Give it up for Amani Winds. Holy crow, Mark Dover, piracy paying off. Unbelievable. Jeff Scott, Monica Ellis, Coyen Spellman Sanchez, and Brandon Patrick George, Imani Winds. Gang, stay up here for a second. I want to welcome all of the artists and brewers, all of the craftspeople who have appeared on this stage tonight. Bring them on up, please. Send them up. Sounds so good. Look at this. It's the Beard and Hat Brigade. Please support all the people you're seeing tonight are artists in their way. Please support the work they're doing. Hey, Kier, you got a special event tomorrow, Kier, you want to talk about?
Yes, we have an event at Alewife Tap Room tomorrow night. Ourselves, Sixpoint, Sloop Brewing from up in the Hudson Valley, Torch and Crown, and Greenport Harbor from out in Montauk area. Coming in, pouring a whole bunch of special release beers. Come and join us at Alewife Tap Room tomorrow in Long Island City.
All right, that's tomorrow. And with that accent, how can you resist? I want to say thank you to the Imani Winds, to Aaron Diehl, to John Holliday, and to Jack Quartet for giving us so much amazing music tonight. And to Kelso, and to Strong Rope, and to Big Alice, and Sixpoint, and Alewife. Thank you so much for the beer. And thank you all so much for coming out tonight and supporting WQXR and classical music and good drinking. We really appreciate your support. We'll see you back here next time, March 21st. We're celebrating Bach's birthday with Simona Dinderstein, Arturo Farrell, and Rebel Baroque. So, I don't know how much beer there's going to be, gang. You probably might not be interested, but these people might be. Thank you and good night.